playing Illinois in the first round. Probably expect a competitive match. We've scrimmed them in the past, played them, and all the teams here are pretty close, I guess, in that regard. So I don't think it'll be necessarily easy, but I think we'll definitely win.
Respect your opponents, a good way to come in, but know you're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have confidence.
Absolutely. So welcome back to the deciding game in this series between Waterloo and Illinois. I think after the game one, we knew it was going to be scrappy, but it did look like Illinois kind of just had a handle on the game. Waterloo showed us different in game two.
I mean, especially Shawner in particular. He showed up huge on the gangplank. Usually not a very lane-dominant champion, but he smashed that game. Was a huge force. 42% of his team's damage.
Damn.
8-3-3, crushing the Vladimir, and I want to see more out of him in this game. He also had a good game one on the Kennen into Vladimir, built a pretty nice lead, but the rest of his team had fallen apart a little bit despite the early advantages. So I like him on a late game carry, or not even necessarily late game, but just some sort of agency on the champion that they can take over. And so there's been a lot of the high priority flex picks champions banned, like the Akali, the Silas, whatever.
Aatrox.
Right. If he plays any of those, given that they're back on blue side for this because Illinois clearly wants a counter pick against him, give him one of these insanely powerful flex pick champions that we've been seeing banned all MSI. Now that you have that first pick priority. So whichever one he wants, leave it up and grab it for yourself.
And countering that, I feel like Illinois gets a little bit more of what they want. We did see Waterloo banning out that Yuumi in game one. We didn't see it in game two, but fear that Illinois will bring that champion out could cost them a ban that gives a better play here to Topopotamus that could fare better against Shawner. A lot of things going into the mix here as we head into game three. Waterloo says they have some planned each time. Let's see what number 3 is.
Yep, GP hits the ban table right away. Topopotamus is not going to want to play chicken with that champion again.
Nope.
And like you said, the Yuumi was interesting. Could have been a throwaway ban. I think everyone knows it's strong, and so you don't want to play into it. But after losing game one, they said we can't have any throwaway bans. Leave it up. And now that Illinois has not played it, I don't think anyone's going to play it this series. And so I would be surprised if they banned it again. So far, Waterloo has banned 2 of the 5 quote-unquote flex picks that we've seen. The Akali's still up, but I bet that's what Illinois goes for next.
Recognizing they do get to that fight phase, Topopotamus can put up the triple kills and even more. So they take away his Vladimir, even though it's been a decent lane matchup for Shawner himself. Lucian's going to be picked up for Platoon. 3 straight games of Lucian. For any player, it feels really good. Even if you played bad, to go and replay a champion again, you're kind of in the mix and you're feeling those mechanics.
Yeah, you got the rhythm down, you know how it's going, and Platoon had a really great game one, was more of a afterthought in game two to Shawner, but he wasn't playing bad by any means. So good to see him on the Lucian again, and they had a very successful early game last time, so I like them focusing on that early game power.
And bot lane, Timmy Tommy looked really good on this Rakan with his Xayah for Bosch.
Yeah, game one for Illinois, despite we were talking about Platoon having a great game, that wasn't through slamming the Bosch and Timmy Tommy in laning phase. That was more about his great skirmishing in mid-game fights. This time around, going back to game one drafts for a lot of these guys, but a slight variation right now with Morgana.
Interesting. Probably seeing that Rakan once again save a priority target with a shield, be able to disengage and engage a little bit with the binding. I like it. Well, we will see Morgana for Waterloo and see where she goes. Xin Zhao for Lyo looked great on that champion. Still, he is able to wreak havoc, keep his CS numbers up in the jungle, and kind of find himself in each lane in the early game. Definitely a formidable opponent.
Yep, this time they grabbed the jungler for themselves for Illinois, the Rek'Sai before it gets banned out. Very different draft from the previous game where it was the bot laners and top laners shown already.
Top, right.
Yeah, so now they're going for those junglers, and unfortunately for Lyo, I mean, the Rek'Sai is a decent matchup into it, so not going to have quite as much of an early game threat as he would have wanted to before. There's also the Rift Scuttle changes, which we didn't really touch on.
True, late Rift.
Yeah, so the Scuttlers show up later, and that is not as great for Xin Zhao. That's what made him so strong in the previous meta, was the fact that at level 2, he's grabbing all those Rift Scuttles away instantly. No one wants to fight him on his level 2 Power Spike. Rek'Sai especially was not particularly strong at level 2, but now it's a little bit later on that these things spawn. So not quite as much of a Xin Zhao meta, but he is still very high damage and can be very powerful with his early
yeah,
games.
we saw that last game. Swain and Jax locked away from Illinois' side. Waterloo will not find those plays. Poppy and what? On the other side, what is their priority to ban away? Illinois getting counter pick on this one. That will go to Zeno in the mid lane. He did play a Veigar to the first game Nautilus mid lane.
Oh.
And there's the Veigar getting banned out. It was a response pick, I believe, but still played it well. Good champion, and they did win the game. Nico gets locked in for the side of Illinois.
Gotta assume that's top Nico. We saw a fair amount of MSI. Didn't really receive any changes since then. There's two different builds. The AP, you know, where you're focusing more on the Pop Blossom.
Yep.
And then there's also the on-hit damage build. We'll have to see which one he goes for. The on-hit a little bit stronger in laning phase, and if that's where Topopotamus has been struggling, I would not be surprised to see it. And Shauner looking like he's going right back to that Kendon pick from game 1.
I like it. If you're going to be auto attack based, why not? Throw it right back in her face.
See both of them go auto attack focus.
Yeah. Ooh,
Whoa.
Zed is locked in for Shrimps here. Wants to make a statement in the last game.
He's 5-0 on it. It's his most played champion in collegiate. This is the time to bust it out.
Oh, the Orianna. Does he play? So okay, so this actually works out a little bit better if you play the Orianna with the Runic. But yeah, like Lissandra, you keep the wave clear up. You're not pushed under your turret by Zed and energy just all day, unlimited resource.
Yep, not too much of a
Sweet.
surprise not to go for the Orianna. I like the Lissandra as a counter pick. It's very hard for the Zed to find solo kills at 6 at that point. But we'll have to see if he can get elsewhere on the map to find these kills. I mean, Captain Shrimps has done a decent job of roaming around so far in this series. But man, that Zed is an all-in pick in the mid lane. We were talking about early game, and this is basically saying, yeah, this game's going to be over in 30 minutes.
We will see. I love these compositions coming in right now. You're going to see more engage here from Timmy Tommy. Project One going in with him. Lyo is no stranger to aggression in the early game, and he loves to start things off. We saw him knowing that the Scuttles, as we were saying, spawned late. Didn't even go for his blue. Invaded Project's jungle right off the bat with his Xin Zhao early last game to get in his Kane's face. Now he's a Rek'Sai once again. See if he keeps himself happy in the jungle and away from that tracking of Lyo. Coaches, shake hands, leave the players with their final words as they make their way into game here for the first best of 3 series and our final game of that series now at 1-1.
The pressure is on Illinois, having a monstrous upset last year. They know what it takes to pull off that kind of upset. So now they're trying to avoid being the ones taken down by Waterloo in this upset fashion.
Captain Shrimps knows all about these kind of picks that are right in the end, these high intensity picks. Had a Pantheon versus Stony Brook in their game 5, knowing he had to bring out different things, stretch his champion pool. He loves the pressure, and we'll have to see if he can be the captain of this team this time around as we are on to the Rift for game 3 here with 2019 College Championships. Starting off today, we still have games later today for Maryville and NC State as they'll go head-to-head in a best-of-3 right after this matchup. Zeno looks like he's going to find a little bit of love from 4 members. Oh, the plays, the homework, the payoff, not there as Topopotamus taking a good skill, blocking everybody out.
Yeah, Topopotamus flashing out of that one. A little surprised to see. Everyone might have thought it was Lissandra at home. That's the Nico. Picking what she looks like, and then going to have to get out of there.
Minions have spawned.
But a nice start out of Waterloo, and you can see they're not playing scared. They're still looking for all these aggressive plays, and I overall like the Morgana pick in this comp a little bit. You're not focused on huge team fights and whatnot, which a Rakan is better at starting or something like that, but you can Black Shield the Zed when he goes in to make him less susceptible to getting locked down super hard by the the Lissandra, which is the concern for a Zed when you go into 3v3s and things like that, that you just get stunned up and you can't do anything.
And we have Avali standing on the sideline with Waterloo's coach to see how they're feeling about game 3.
Thanks, guys. I am with Waterloo's coach, BTM. After the comeback for your team, what do you think about the team's performance so far in this series, and how confident are you going into game 3?
So far, our team has definitely performed. Like, game 1, we had a huge lead. We started throwing. Our players were nervous. Game 2, we came back and showed them that this is not out of our limitations. We can actually perform and be a competitor on the stage here.
And how confident are you? You mentioned beforehand that you believe in each one of your players. So how does that feel coming into the game?
Each of our players knows what they can do, and I'm confident in each of them to perform right here on the Riot stage.
Well, thank you so much, and best of luck to you and your team. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. It's cool to see. We were talking a little bit about that mentality of having to go back and forth in a series, and that it didn't get kind of stuck in a, oh, we just played that wrong, or it wasn't our right composition. It's just they kind of know they didn't play up to expectations after having a lead, and nerves got to them. Sometimes it's just figuring that out, and I think we saw how much it advanced them in Game 2.
Yeah, definitely felt like there's a release of nerves or concern heading into Game 2 as they close that one out very confidently. And that's what we're looking for here in Game 3. They once again have a pretty early game focused composition, mid, jungle, and ADC, and even support in some ways, much more early game centric champions.
Again, these early sweepers coming around. Project One always making sure he's got that, as well as Lyo.
Yep, both trying to make plays, so they want to shut down that vision. Lyo going for the invade. He's going to be spotted out by Project One.
Once again, the Shrimps already had that lane priority, so he may be able to get down here. However, 2v3 is they don't actually have Bosch pull out a lane just yet, and they do deny Project One that blue buff. Nice for Lyo to already get in his hair early in the game.
Yeah, not too bad for Rek'Sai, though, all things considered. An energy, or I guess Fury-based jungler, so she's not going to need that blue buff quite as much. Checking in on top lane, we actually see the Glacial Augment AP Neeko, which is the one that you, that's the rune choice that you take when you do go the AP Neeko. So a lot more focus on that, not quite as strong as a laner. So you can see having a little bit of trouble, but still doing pretty well into the Kennen. And I do like it for the more team fight focus that their comp has. Xayah, Rakan, Lissandra, and Neeko all have an insane amount of lockdown and zone control.
I love the fact as well, you're against Waterloo. These champions don't build a ton of HP, so you're going to be able to get, if you hit a nice Pop Blossom, basically zeroing out everybody's health here as we get to the mid-game. Just coming up on 5 minutes as the waves stack up quite nicely against Platoon. He should be able to clean these up before they get to the turret, but they cannot afford to fight under that many caster minions. So playing it safe here against Bosch and Timmy Tommy for the early part, with a nice wave to clean up in a few seconds. Project One hovering, waiting for that Lightning Rush. If he uses it, it's over. There's a few of his abilities. Lightning Rush gets him to safety, and he's able to make his way out. They're trying for anything in that advantage there, and now they know that Project One is top. We'll see if they can get him here coming around to annoy him in the jungle.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Captain Shrimp on a little bit of a vision mission. Not going to see that ward, unfortunately, but some interesting other changes. Lissandra still going for the Aftershock, despite, I guess what most people would call nerfs for a lot of mage-based champions. You know, not scaling more with health and things like that you don't really build on the Lissandra. The Kennen as well had his resist shifted from his Lightning Rush, his E, onto his ultimate. And that's one of the things that people, didn't really think about with Kennen. His E was actually extremely overloaded. It gave move speed, you ran through things, you tagged people for damage, you got attack speed, and you got magic resist and armor. So that was kind of a one-point wonder, or you could even max it because it scaled very well with points, and it made your laning very strong and made you more, oh my god, hold on, Lyo wants us to talk about him.
Lyo over. Does he have enough room though? They got into the turret range right away. Nice spell shield to keep him safe, but oh my word, the plays that they're trying to make can be made. You just don't have to.
Yeah, that was insane. Lyo does ultimately trade flash for flash with the enemy AD, so it's not the biggest waste ever, but definitely a very surprising play.
I like it. Hey, it works. We ooh and ah. It's a lot expended, though. You have to consider what's going to happen next. How much could Project One, even if they got the kill, work off of Flash being down if you try to go for Dragon there? And that might be the result, actually, of that going down. It's like just the pings here and Vision coming in from Xeno as they don't really know what else is going on the other side of the map. Illinois here trying to make sure they just don't go down early. They realized what happened when Chandra got a lead, when Lyo started to get a lead, and now they're starting to prevent that kind of catapult. Teleport coming in. Chandra looks like he wants to get a little bit of this business, and he'll be able to teleport or Lightning Rush back up the top lane.
Funnily enough, I was just thinking to myself, I'm surprised he went for the Hex Drinker early, but that's probably the only thing keeping him alive right now. So good choice by Captain Shrimp to go for the early defensive itemization. I know a lot of Zeds like to still grab the early pen items, but the MR kept him alive through that. Very important. And despite that fact, it looks like Illinois thinks that they have gotten enough priority to start forcing him down.
Lyo's top, he'll be stealing quite a bit for himself, but that first Infernal Drake, good damage going over to Illinois. We'll see how they utilize this in the early game, where they start to push their vision towards. Really just focus on the bottom right now as they make sure they grab the objective here. Keep eyes on Lyo. He's going to be hovering topside for now as he also sweeps out. Keeps it safe for Shauner. He knows that's been a big player for the team, so he's going to make sure he gets a bit of utility here in the early game.
Pretty surprised to see them not want to kind of hard force that. They did get the sweeper down, saw that there were no wards, so they would not know that he was up there.
It's a decent wave, too.
Yeah, it is a bit of a hard dive. They had a wave, they have the cannon ult, so if you can actually lock up and chain CC top hippopotamus, you can turn that kill. But if you lose track of the Neeko, if she goes invisible or one of those kinds of things, there are some outplay potential as well as the Pop Blossom giving a shield. So I can understand not wanting to go for that dive, but they do lose an Infernal Drake and not able to trade that out in any way, which is unfortunate.
10 CS here in the bot, countered by 10 CS in the mid. Doesn't look like there's too much gold being gained there. It's kind of a jungle discrepancy really wavering right now, along with the jungle grabbed, or dragon grabbed up is nice for Illinois. Shrimps able to push this lane, able to get a lot of roams on. He hasn't been able to add too much pressure, but definitely getting wards, clearing out vision, getting that vision score up to make sure he stays safe in mid lane and can be that Zed, the reason he picked it. Get some assassinations down.
Assassinating them wards right now.
Getting them. Huge. Top hippopotamus coming back to lane. You see him getting a handshake. Mentally preparing to go back up against Shauner here. 69 to 69 in that lane as he gets a few CS denied at the turret and a quick plate for himself. It's going to feel nice.
Yep, good job by Shauner, still having a strong performance, but not as dominant as we saw in the first and second game. Neeko, a very strong laner, so no surprise to see him struggling to convert into much. And the bot lane, once again with the Lucian, has actually been the focal point. So they are in a bit of trouble here.
That's a heck of a party for Ward's bot lane without a dragon being there. Sharp goes down real quick. Zeno looks like he could be able to solidify another kill here. Platoon burning down. Looks like he'll stay alive now. Project One almost there, and they are able to drop down Shrimps. He has waited so long to have a good play, and he goes down in a big fight trying to be the cavalry arriving. Not a good start here for the Zed, and a nice double kill there, or 2 kills, I should say, for Illinois.
And that's exactly why I was saying the Morgana should be super important for them here. The fact that Morgana dies instantly and is not there to provide the utility for the Zed, when Zed finally sees a number of low health members, if he has the Black Shield on him, he can go wild in this fight, but he instantly gets rooted by the W and the E by both the Lissandra and the Neeko. So he has no chance to reset, get some kills, drop his ultimate, or do anything with multiple shadows, which actually can turn Zed into a strong team fighter. If you're able to land multiple E's and Q's on members, you can pick up a lot of kills, but not actually able to find any there because of that instant lockdown.
Yep. Quick CC as he dives into the fight. Let's see how they recoup from that one. A kill going over to Project One and a kill to the Bosch. We've seen quite a bit of action going on around on that bot side, just for vision, just for a few things to keep the team in the upper hand of where to move next, what the best strategy would be. And so far, it's to kind of just wait until Waterloo comes in, tries to get that vision, and fight back a bit. They have Zeno usually pushed in by Shrimp, so he can come to the fight. Shrimp's trying to get to the fight a little late because he hasn't been able to roam too much or get that damage, so... Great job by Illinois to figure out that they kept trying to get the wards, and Lyo wants into the jungle every time he can.
Yeah, and despite the fact that, oh, hold on. You know, there is that CS lead in the bottom. The fact that the gold lead is 1,000 in Illinois' favor is a pretty big problem for Waterloo right now. They really need a gold lead, and they should be trying to explode this game with their early aggression, but they've really struggled to get anything started here. Still 0 kills.
Thought he was going to at least throw a Prey Seeker. Gotta give it a whirl.
It's a longer cooldown now. I can't waste it.
Oh, so true. There's much prey to be seeked. Not that one. Nope.
There were some Rek'Sai nerfs, but they're all just some small number changes. Not going to go over them. It's not worth it.
Plate bottom as well. Looking around, one plate mid, one plate top. So plates as well have been grabbed by Waterloo. They're not too far behind in that sense. Just a bit of gold, 1.4K due to these kills right now. Top lane again, Project One waiting for Shawnr to go in, but he sparingly is using that lightning rush. Keeps it for safety. Ooh. Might hear it. Nope. Really well done.
Yeah, mostly they're wanting to recall, and if you're going to recall anyways, be near a lane, so if something does go down, you can potentially turn that play. Just helping protect the Neeko, push in a little bit, and after that, you can reset like you wanted to do initially anyways. It's a pretty big difference in a skill order for the Neeko. If you're going the AP build, you see that Q-Max, whereas the on-hit, obviously not going to go for that. Hold on, Rift Herald in the bot lane.
Rotations all around. You can see Project One even moving down from that top side. Looks like he'll try to cover mid. Basically shortstop to second here, and he may go all the way down to first if he has to. He will. The Dragon is up for this Cloud Drake. Mobility would be great for Project One to be able to get around this map. Follow Lio where he's been going, just preventing it from taking these plates, but they're not going to be able to get the damage, or will they? No, the plates are going down, but the fight is as well. Xeno goes all the way in, gets the Ring of Frost down. Huge hit onto that one, and we're going to see Lio trying to make the damage happen as well for his team. Lio and Platoon go down right in the beginning, and this is a great fight coming in for Illinois. The team picks up kills across the board as they also lose Shawnr and Sherb on the side of Waterloo. But what a back and forth is Waterloo using that Rift Herald. Thought they had the upper hand.
That might actually be the nail in the coffin only 13 minutes into the game. The fact that they get a 4-for-2, Topopotamus did get assassinated by the Zed in the mid lane, but that is not that big of a deal, all things considered, when you've just crushed a bot lane push.
It took them so long to get the Rift Herald up there. It was so much counter time.
Yeah, there were so many minions in the way that it gave time for them to collapse, and they gave up the inside track actually. And here, just an early Morgana binding, no hope that that was ever going to land onto anybody. That was a complete panic one. And then the rest of the team is able to get underneath the turret, and so it forces Shawnr to have to dive way underneath there to find even one kill, but that's just a doomed, suicide attempt to get a kill. Here, Topopotamus just not really respecting it. Nice dodge on the Pop Blossom with the Zed ultimate, and then able to find the cleanup kill. Just too much damage there.
All right, Shrimps. Very nicely done. In the mid lane, as we saw that double kill, bot lane 6-2, and like you said, a possible nail in the coffin. This is about figuring out a way back into the closed door when you really have nothing open. You have to bash your way through. Coming up on 15 minutes, 2 Drakes down as well, so a lot of things weighing against them. And I have to see if Captain Shrimps can start to make a few of these picks, if he gets big enough. His targets aren't too few. He's actually got quite a few he's killed. Bosch can definitely take down Project One, Topopotamus. But here you see it's definitely difficult to take down Xeno in any instance, even with full-on fight and damage follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at how that trade happened there between the Zed and Lissandra is actually a bit of a nightmare situation for the Zed.
Yeah.
The fact that the Lissandra could go aggressive, blow her Aftershock, not defensively, and then also ult aggressively onto the Zed and still not die shows how far behind. Hold on, top lane fight.
Pop Blossom goes down. I don't think it was the damage Topopotamus was looking for, but he does lock down Lio, and that's why we saw hesitation on the early gank for Topopotamus.
Yeah, I tried to find him there, but he was level 11, had the extra damage and sustainability through. Oh.
All right. All right.
Intimidation.
It's about sending a message, Mark.
I don't need this stopwatch, Riv.
Nope. See where they head after that. Getting your Infernal Drake up next, so Illinois would love a bit more damage. That should be in a few minutes. They have great vision control all over the jungle. It always feels good when your vision control is moved up. You're not placing defensive wards. Everything you have is just giving you information about the enemy team, and that's exactly what Illinois has right now.
Yeah, Illinois, all things considered, has probably had better vision control over the course of the series, and right now you can see it. They're not clearing out a ton of wards. There's actually been very good wards dropped by Waterloo to avoid a lot of the pinks that are in the bot side jungle, but they have lost the first turret in what was supposed to be a pretty strong lane.
Whoa! That's a heck of a chase.
Yeah, Xeno, you see how brave he's being in this matchup.
Feels good, knows it. Ult is up, yep. So he can keep himself safe, so the cavalry arrives in that sense. Top lane's going to back. We'll see what items he puts on for Shauner. Looks like he actually just heads down towards bot lane there. Gets a quick back on. Really doesn't have too much money to put anything in his belt. I'll actually check myself.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the plan is here for Waterloo at this point. I mean, their comp was a very much win lane, win game, stomp early kind of composition. Down 3K now, just 17 minutes in. Enemy team's up Drakes as well. You did get a Rift Herald, but couldn't even turn that into that much gold. I'm not sure if they even grabbed the turret plate gold from that one. So now you're in a lot of trouble.
They have cornered themselves into that find a win lane, win game situation as they did last time. Well, one kill here, possibly a follow-up. Lyo trying to get that retribution for his teammate, but he may go down in the end. Project One lives. A second situation like that in the series for him. Does he give a kill to Shrimp, though? Shrimp's going to be chasing on this one. This actually, I was going to say, puts Waterloo in a position where they're not pushing their waves, which is what they need to be doing, finding every advantage and not trying to get on the heels of a low health enemy. Here they stop top turret from going down. And they start to clear these waves out a little bit. We'll see how this fight went down one more time.
Yeah, it just catches the enemy Lucian out in the jungle. Project One is relatively strong at this point, can easily solo him out. Does get pulled into Lyo, has to take this kind of 1v2 at this point. His team does try and save him, but the Black Shield stops the Rakan Alt W from knocking him up or doing any CC, so he still gets the damage out, but doesn't find the kill. Project One stays alive. And then Captain Shrimp, I don't know if he didn't have his W up or what, but he did not actually want to take that fight. I thought for sure he was going to try and go at least on the Rakan. You know his ult is down, and you should be able to outplay the W quite easily. So for one reason or another, Captain Shrimp did not get involved in that fight.
W out of base to get there quicker with home guards.
Yeah, something like that maybe, but
who knows?
Could not find anyone. And that's just another 2 for 0 going in Illinois' favor.
And they're looking strong coming into this third game. You were saying, though, Waterloo playing that game where they want to get early lane, early game win. Shauner should get out of this one alive. Don't think we're going to see the Rek'Sai ultimate coming through. And Illinois kind of recognized that, said we'll pick champions that play safe in lane, so even if you want to try to win the lane, it'll go even, and you won't be able to win early. So picking early kind of was the trap card that I'd say Waterloo played on themselves.
Yeah, very intelligent draft by Illinois. All these lane matchups are good matchups, and at the very least, like you said, can stabilize the lane and go even if it starts going bad. And then you also have Bosch and Timmy Tommy back on what was a very powerful bot lane for them. They got slammed last game. Here they're actually up CS, and they're doing a really good job. The Morgana pick has not worked out at all for University of Waterloo, so they're desperate to find a way back in this game, but they don't have the tools.
It's tough to do anything here, but it'd be great to yo-yo the fight back and forth. Fight, but don't lose members. You have a top lane push coming from Captain Shrimps, but it's not enough. A very hungry Illinois team is just heading through the front door of the base of Waterloo. They are going to have to call back Captain Shrimps. Able to grab that top turret for himself, gives the team a little bit of gold, and they do have very damaged turrets on the other side, so quite a bit to pick up. They get themselves on the map on the side of Waterloo, but Illinois is just pressuring down. We'll see here one more time how they did it.
Yeah, diving base at 20 minutes is not a good look for Waterloo here. Project One could have backed off, could have just been happy, forcing him back. Wanted the kill, does hand over a 700 gold shutdown to Platoon, so a little concerning. Platoon was the guy that kind of kept game one close for as long as it was.
True.
We'll have to see if he can kind of put on his carry pants with that shutdown. Not in a great position, though.
Oh, wow. The turret for everything on the side of Waterloo. They go so hard for mid. No vision really on the sides here. That shoulder vision, they are unaware of where Illinois is coming from. There's a double kill for the Bosch. Looking for a triple kill as his support sets him up. Looking for the quadra kill as he moves forward. Sherb in his eyes, but it's just around the corner. Is there enough length? That goes to the support as they start giving the love to everybody on the team. 15-3 in a statement matchup. A slicing maelstrom to 3 members of University of Illinois coming in from Shauner, but it's just not enough this game. He needs the Cannon Barrage too this time around.
Gets the ace, tries his best to defend the turret, but not able to do so. And with that, Illinois going to look for this Baron buff. It's a slaughter. Up 7,000 gold now for Illinois. And they're looking like they're heading into the semifinals. Collegiate Championship.
What a way to turn this one. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of a one and done. If you don't get it going with Zed, it's very hard to come back. You can even see the intentions in the inventory of Illinois vision wards all the way down the belt line, and they're able to secure those vision wards and press forward. Here's a fight where they're able to turn it around onto Waterloo for that Baron.
Yeah, it's just one of those ideas where you got some kills, you finally want to start grabbing some objectives, so they all in for this turret, but they have no vision to know that they're getting flanked from the side, and then no one wants to leave their compatriots behind, and so they're all the way pushed up in the mid lane, and everyone gets run down one by one. And at this point, Shawner is put in a terrible position where it's either watch your base drop or kill yourself and try and force them back. He goes for option 2. He's able to get a lot of damage down, but has no follow-up to actually finish off these kills, so he's going to be dropped as well.
I would do that too.
I think that's the right play.
Yeah.
You're like, the game's over for the most part. You can watch them take your inhibitor, or you can maybe
Looks cool.
maybe get a kill.
Oh! On the bluff. They had a vision ward over there, but they did not know where Waterloo was, so they said they're not in their base. Well, they got to be in the jungle. The fight continues. Project One starts this one off. Lyle's low, but he wants to get the kill onto Zeno. His Topopotamus now tries to come in from the side. Pop Blossom himself. He's not going to get too much growth out of that one. Lyle goes down. A double kill for Project One, as that's going to be one for Zeno. 2 left on the bottom. Shawner and his team, his support Sherb, trying to keep themselves alive. Teamwork makes the dream work, and it looks like Shawner's gonna have to leave Sherb behind. He stays for the last bit of damage, but it's not Project One with turret aggro. The base is falling to shambles as University of Illinois come out incredibly strong in Game 3 to put on a statement matchup.
Everyone stepping up this game, especially Project One, able to solo out every single member of Waterloo at some point or another there, taking down Captain Shrimps and setting up his team for the semifinals.
Across the board, it's Shockanaw from University of Illinois in Game 3, and they take down Waterloo.
For the second year in a row, Illinois heading to the semifinals of the college championships. They got knocked out there last time, and they're hoping for a better run this year.
They want to return. They want to make it happen. Waterloo definitely have to feel good about the performance they put up today. We saw the strength that came out of this team and the dynamic that they could bring to the table. It seemed like Illinois was kind of able to identify that and change just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, this was their first time here at the college championships. A wonderful showing for Waterloo, all things considered. Took a game off Illinois, made it very, very close, but maybe lacking in experience. A lot of these guys for Illinois were here last year and were able to stay calm in this series and come out ahead.
And it is Waterloo themselves saying kind of coming in as the underdogs, but a very strong team. Well, I think coming away from this, there are easy things to identify to work on. And it's not like, hey, that's stark, like, bad from what was supposed to be happening. It's just, okay, a little bit of positioning there. I think we tunneled a little too much on what could happen early. If the game ever goes late, you're kind of out of the running in that. So a little change up in there and a little bit more security for if different things within the Rift happen.
Yeah, I mean, another year for some of these guys would be huge. A lot of them looked good at different points. Every single member, Shawner, Lyo, Captain Shrimp, Splatoon, Sherb, all of them had great moments at one point or another in this series. And so that's a great looking forward to next year. For Illinois, though, I mean, this is exactly what they wanted after last year.
You can see the kind of veterans for Waterloo there in Shawner, in Platoon, in Sherb, what these guys bring to the team. So hopefully with that squad coming back again, as you were saying, that's going to be much stronger. Illinois, like you said, however, showing up, trying to get back to that semifinal position to not let the upset happen again. They want to find themselves on the final stage.
Yeah, and it was a lot of the returning members who really stepped up in that game. Project One basically ran over it, and he was the guy that we were saying, 2 years ago was in the Thailand.
TPL.
The TL LCS version. And it was a really good game out of him. Zeno as well, taking the Lissandra. A lot of people get memed about going back to Lissandra or whatever, but it's a good champion to pick in a lot of matchups, and Zed is one of them, doing the team player approach and had a great game as well.
It really did. A lot of safe play from University of Illinois, but strong play in that safety, and I think it makes them a very scary team. For more on that win, let's send it down to Avli for an interview with the triumphant bot lane.
Thanks, guys. I am here with the Bosch and Timmy Tommy. Guys, congratulations on your first win of the tournament. Now, your team has been to the championships multiple times, but it's your guys' first time. So what was it like picking up a win on day one?
Well, it was really amazing. I've never had this sort of opportunity ever. We felt a rush, obviously, during the Big Ten Finals. We went to Game 5, so I guess we just love making it close for some reason. But that being said, it was insane, and they played their hearts out. They are a great team, too.
And Timmy Tommy, tell me about your performance, because you had some crazy recon engages this entire series.
So we recently picked up Rakan and scrims. We started practicing it a lot, and I like playing Hyphy champions where I can flash and engage instead of e-girls like Yuumi where you just sit on them. So yeah.
Don't touch my cats, man. I love my cats. But the Bosch, I've heard from multiple people that you are the positive person on the team. You're always encouraging your teammates and bringing laughter and just positive energy to the team. So how does that role translate to On the Rift?
Well, I don't want to give too much credit to myself. I think Mike and I both, Timmy Tommy and I both really bring a lot of positive energy to the team. I think that really when spirits get down, we try to make things look on the upside of things. And so overall, I think together we help to create a good environment on the team that makes it so that even when we're 10K gold behind or whatever we've come back from and triple inhibs, we've always come back and been able to get the victory.
Is he being modest, or what do you think about the team environment?
I think we have a great environment. We're always laughing and joking around. We had an interesting chant earlier, yeah. And we just have a lot of fun, even if we're behind. We try to keep a positive mental.
And the Bosch, I believe we had a really cute clip of you. You went against Doublelift in one of your solo queue games, said that you slowly wanted to, prove that you're good enough to play against him again, but you won on the same stage that he takes games. You've probably sat in the exact same chair that he wins games. So now that you are climbing up this professional pro play ladder, what do you want to say to him?
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Well, guys, congratulations and best of luck for your games moving forward. That's it for us here. Back to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Awesome, we're ready to bring it on too. Thank you so much, Avli. That was big words from the Bosch and Timothy Thomas there. Timmy Tommy taking the victory 2-1. Illinois moving back to the semifinals.
Yeah, it's really cool that those two guys are the ones that are keeping up the morale with the team. When I was playing, I would try to lift up the spirits of my team, but they banned me from doing it. I was not allowed to lift up spirits
Maybe
anymore.
you weren't that good at it. That's why you're getting banned.
My voice was too deep to lift up the morale. They're like, no, that just sounds like you're just being condescending, which it wasn't true.
All right, okay. Let's get back to this series.
All
right, so Zed was the big pick here. That kind of surprised. Waterloo pulling that one out. Shrimps, game 3, tried to do something with it. Wasn't able to get anything going. Not necessarily his fault, but how did the game break for you?
Definitely not. And, game 3, backs against the wall. It's an elimination game. A lot of times you turn back to comfort, right? So this is definitely a pick that he had prepared. It was a pick that he had practiced, and I'm sure he felt confident going into most any matchup. The problem is that Lissandra is just the perfect answer to Zed.
Brutal.
You get the early arm guard, you get the stopwatch, and after level 7 in blue buff, you're always getting priority. And we saw Zeno just take over the game with engage after engage, coupled with the recon. And the final point is look at the ease of execution of Illinois' comp versus Waterloo's. Zed, Lucian, Morgana. All 3 of these champions are very difficult to execute. And on the flip side, Lissandra and Rakan is almost brain dead easy. All you do is press your buttons and go. So for me, elimination game at this level, absolutely ease of execution.
I will say, though, I think Captain Shrimps can look at a specific moment where he could have actually snowballed his Zed, which was in the river. Rek'Sai and Lissandra engage on him. He has the Kennen teleporting in his jungler behind. That was the time for him to engage and take out the Rek'Sai when she was down 2 levels from the jungler. But that's a situation that you have to recognize that you are so bloodthirsty as a Zed player that it's really difficult. In a match 3, game point, whoever wins this takes it home or gets eliminated. So I can't put that much blame on him. Sure. And that is what you're saying, the ease of execution. You just don't have to be looking for these opportunities when you have a Lissandra. You know when the fight is happening.
Right, now let's take a look at some of the replays that we have here at 9 minutes. A 2-0 in the bot lane started things off for University of Illinois, and they didn't have the easiest start here.
Yeah, well, they were invading without vision, and the bottom lane collapsed right away. And the second that you've got 5 members here against any other amount of players, you know you're in some trouble. So this is just the UI, the University of Illinois, recognizing this is the time to press our buttons, and they do so, and it works really well because it is that easy. It matters a lot.
It does, and the team that moves first is almost always favored, especially in this meta. We saw that with IG at Last Worlds, we saw that at MSI, and this game, Timmy Tommy moves first on Rakan every time, and he's carrying a lot of these fights.
And we're always talking, we want to see proactive play. We're so used to seeing teams sit back, scale up, and here's an opportunity where they were proactive, but immediately Illinois responds with multiple numbers on the bottom side.
And again, this is Illinois countering the Rift Herald play, and look at the engage here from Zeno. He's able to lock up 3 or 4 members with Lissandra, and they're forced to move forward. Kennen is overcommitting under this turret, trying to finish off this losing play. full commitment to a losing play. They end up losing 4 members, and at this point, the snowball is going out of control. And at the same time, it was a really nice solo kill here from the Zed, but it's just too little too late. He's not able to get enough done, especially after the influx of gold in the bot lane on Lissandra.
Yeah, Zed is one of those champs. You got to snowball on, and the team has to play around him. And Shrimps didn't have a terrible game, but it seemed like pieces weren't quite working out. And Project One, that's a player that I wanted to touch on specifically in this game. He's a senior on the team, returning member, part of that core 3 players that were here last year. He had himself a game on the Rek'Sai, didn't he, Crown?
Yeah, he had 2 games of Rek'Sai, and honestly, the champion right now is super strong because you can track your opposing jungle. That's the one thing that is very difficult to capture on air, to show that when you are burrowed, you have a full understanding about what is happening in a gank, which lets you engage first. So you make the first move because you're aware that there is nobody there, and you just blow the fights wide open every single time. A champion like Xin Zhao can never do that. Every time you engage, you're hoping that nobody else is there to counter you, but Rek'Sai is the champion that can do that. So I'm expecting him to continue with this pick to the point where he might get banned because he was carrying some of those last fights.
Yeah, and you guys were talking, the 5 OPs, now something might go ahead, slide on through, and that'll change the strategy throughout all of the draft. Let's take a look at that final team fight here with Illinois getting the ace and then breaking the base.
And this fight starts off with a Black Shield just being slightly mistimed, but you're already on the retreat. You have a Lissandra flanking you. You know that the members that are being chased down are too weak. And so this fight isn't really a fight. You're just picking one after the other. And then Mark was saying it, Kennen not really having a choice. Either you let the inhibitor go or you go to try to clear. Both options suck. You're gonna die anyways, and you're not gonna win the game out of that regardless. So it just was a chain of events that got worse and worse.
Definitely a rock and a hard place there, and I don't want to take anything away from Waterloo. Their first time qualifying into the tournament. They were so close in the regional semifinals last year, falling, but they found their way on in, got themselves a win, and made a name for themselves both through the top lane. And Shauner now has himself an own Verb on the bottom side. Platoon doing a fantastic job on Lucian, 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both teams had chances this series, right? That's what made it so entertaining for me to watch, you know, especially as a coach. It didn't feel like neither team was out of it at any point in this series. You know, they were going back and forth at times. The goal graphs were back and forth. This last game, I think, in a pressure situation, when one thing goes wrong, like you have the Rift Herald and you're pressing forward on bottom, you think this is a winning play for you. The fact that it got turned around, everything just starts to collapse.
Yeah, and this
That's when morale is super important. You need to have somebody in your team that says, all right, guys, I get it. That really hurt our chances, but let's try to think of a way that we can come back. And you're not going to be able to make one play to come back. You need to mount a series of 5, 6 plays over 20 minutes for you to even have a shot back in the game. And that takes such a mental toll on you when you have to take, all right, I'll win one fight. I'll take a 1 for 2 here and there. I'll just slowly grab all these pieces, and you're expected to keep your hopes high the entire time. It's really hard. So I really can't blame anybody at either the collegiate level, the academy level, or the professional level when they can't pull that off.
And that's what I wanted to touch base on with this Illinois team. Games 2 and Games 3, whoever got ahead early won the game, but Illinois was the one that showed some resilience there in Game 1 that went back and forth. Absolutely. And moving forward, they have multiple options of winning, right? We saw in the top lane, Top Eponymous did well, had some trouble in Game 2, and then bounced back in Game 3. Xeno consistent throughout. Timmy, Tommy, and the Bosch showing their thing, and there, that final game, Project One, Illinois looking like a scary team here.
Yeah, absolutely. And also talking about leadership, Bosch and Timmy Tommy strike me as some really great in-game leaders for this team. Having players that are able to keep everybody calm and level in these high-pressure situations is something that's, you know, incredibly underrated by a lot of coaches and players. So the fact that they have this kind of leadership and they're able to perform in big moments makes this a scary team.
All right. Well, that's all the Collegiate League that we have. Oh, we have more Collegiate League coming your way. Maryville hit the Rift next as they are going up against North Carolina State. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the College Championships.
They are in a bit of trouble here.
That's a heck of a party for Ward's bot lane without a Dragon being there. Sharp goes down real quick. We're going to see Lyo trying to make the damage happen as well for his team. Lyo and Platoon go down right in the beginning, and this is a great fight coming in for Illinois. They are unaware of where Illinois is coming from. There's a double kill for the Bosch. Looking for a triple kill as his support sets him up. Looking for the quadra kill as he moves forward. Across the board, it's Shakinov from University of Illinois in Game 3, and they take down Waterloo.